Hey, so there was a question the other day about snacks to take with you when you are hiking or after you get done with a workout. And so I wanted to show you guys some of my go-tos for both. Actually, these are snacks that I do whether I've just gone to the gym or if we've gone for a family hike or my husband and I have just taken a hike. So first off, I'd really like to think of things that are just kind of easy and convenient, but are whole foods. Again, kind of going back to that whole food, plant-based diet. But also, fairly convenient. So some of these are a little bit more processed, like hence our crackers. But they are a whole grain cracker. They're pretty minimal in the ingredients versus some of the other brands that are out there. But this is just your basic string cheese, 3 crackers. I tend to look for crackers that give you at least 3 grams of fiber per serving. I love to see like just 1 or 2 grams of protein too. Crackers shouldn't naturally have a lot of protein in it, but the more protein that's in it, that means probably the more likely that the grains were less processed, so that protein from typically the wheat, but it might be other grains too, was left intact. So that's usually a good thing. Next is a hard-boiled egg. These are just so easy. You can hard-boil a whole dozen and eat them throughout the week. And then I made some pumpkin muffins, added a couple chocolate chips because the kids love them and it's good. This is a really easy recipe. Let me know if you want it. It's just use canned pumpkin and make a basic muffin mix. I like to use half white flour, half whole wheat to get a little bit more whole grains there. So that's a nice good combination. For a lot of you, this is not like a teeny tiny muffin. I'm not sure how you can tell. I guess if you put it next to a large egg, you can see how big it is. So for most of you, you might want to do like the mini muffin tins and just do 1 muffin, or like eat half of this. That might be a little bit too much. And then another favorite is just an apple. Again, this might be too big. You want to kind of think of the size of a baseball. It's about the size of my fist. That's a good apple size, which is what this is. Some apples can be too big if they're like the size of a softball or more. And then 2 tablespoons of some kind of nut butter. This is the Justin cinnamon almond butter. I take this with us a lot if we're flying or traveling because it's just so convenient. But otherwise, I just like to take my regular nut butter, whatever it is, and then just put it in like a smaller plastic container because it's a lot cheaper to do it this way. This is like $1 for just one of these, or sometimes you can get them for 75 cents, but they're not cheap. So I don't usually use that. And then my probably all-time favorite and what I do at work all the time is I make a trail mix. So this is my trail mix that I made. I usually put it in some kind of larger container like this. I like to get these nut mixes from Target. This is a roasted nut mix with sea salt. This is a raw mix, unsalted. They also have an unsalted roasted mix if you like the roasted flavor. But what I do is I mix the salted and the unsalted together in here, and then I get some raisins from our co-op or other dried fruit, just depending on what I want. I got my big old bag of chocolate chips from Costco, and I just kind of mix it all together. I typically do about a 1/4 cup of salted, 1/4 cup of unsalted, a scoop of raisins, and then like 1 or 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips so that it's not too much chocolate, obviously. And then I like to keep a tablespoon in there just because it's an easy measurement. And so a serving of nuts is about 4 tablespoons or 1/4 cup. And that doesn't mean a heaping 1/4 cup or a heaping 4 tablespoons. So you can kind of see, I'm not sure how you can tell there, that's level. It's not, there aren't a ton of nuts on top of it. So 4 tablespoons, like I said, a 1/4 cup equals 1 serving of the trail mix. I like to put it in these little bags I got from our one grocery store in town, and this is a 1/4 cup of nuts. It fits perfectly in there, or trail mix I should say, because that does have the raisins and chocolate chip. This is empty, so I just literally take my scoop it out, dump it in, seal it off, and then I have a few of these, so I'll make however many I have, so that they're just ready to go. So I can just grab them on the run, or if we're hiking, I can give one to each kid. I have another one for my husband and I. So it's just super, super convenient. You can also use, I got these Wasabi Peas from our co-op too. They look a little bit different because they don't have the funky green dye, but they're so good. So if you're not really into a sweet mix, you could do more of a salty and maybe add some sesame sticks to it, some Wasabi Peas. You can get kind of creative with that. The other thing I like to do for storage is these are little stasher bags. They're silicone bags. They're kind of pricey. They're usually about 10 bucks a pop, but they are reusable. You can stick this in the microwave. You can put this in the oven, believe it or not. You can put this in boiling water and use it like a sous vide. If any of you have cooked with cooked water or meat before, you can put this in the dishwasher on the top rack, which is great. Again, this isn't a sponsored post, but I think this is awesome, especially if you're just trying to get rid of a ton of plastic and other crap in your house. Be a little bit kinder to the environment. These are also nice. These are just little sandwich bags. Sometimes if we have used all of these, because I'll put like little chunks of leftover cheese or, you know, other random foods in here. And so if I've used all of these and they're in the microwave or they're in the fridge, I'll use these and just kind of roll them over for snacks if we're going for a hike or in the car, or again, post-workout or in my lunch. I'm gonna go through it. So I always like to combine some kind of protein with a complex carbohydrate. So in this case, my muffin, now this is a bit of a stretch as far as a complex carbohydrate goes, but this is sort of that everything in moderation. Yeah, this does have a little bit of whole wheat flour in it, but I would say this is more of a pretty processed food. But again, as long as you're not doing too many processed things or highly processed things during the day, again, I don't worry about it too much. But so the carbohydrate, this is sort of your quick fuel. This is your quick energy. And that will kind of give you that little burst. But then the protein and a little bit of the fat that's in sort of both of these, that sustains you a little bit longer, right? So especially after surgery, we know that protein's important to help prevent muscle wasting, to help with the whole healing process in general, and to help your body just do the normal functions that it requires, right? With hormone synthesis and enzymes and, you know, muscle breakdown and building that back up again. So that's why we have this kind of combination of your protein and a little bit of fat and your complex carbohydrate, and there's a little bit of fat in this too. Same thing with my nuts. You kind of really can't see them in there, but the dried fruit and the chocolate is, again, your kind of quick, fast energy. And then the nuts and seeds are going to be your slower energy. That's going to be more fat, more protein. That's going to help sustain you, keep you full longer. Same thing on the other day, I had an apple. Today I have a banana here. This is about a 6-inch banana. Not sure if you can tell, kind of next to my hand. So it's not super big. A lot of bananas these days look like they're on steroids. So obviously after surgery, most of you can't eat a large banana. A lot of you after surgery, even half of a small banana will probably fill you up initially. But same thing, I have this combination. The banana is your quick, complex carbohydrate. The almond butter or whatever nut butter you choose is going to be your slower energy. This is going to be your protein. This is going to be more fat. I have a lot of people that, and this is more so in clinic than it is necessarily you guys, but a lot of people think like bananas are bad because they're high in sugar. This is another fruit that gets demonized a lot, pineapple, because it's high in sugar. And you know, this is hogwash. Like if you have diabetes and you're eating 3 bananas a day, yeah, that might be too much. You know, same thing. If you are eating, you know, 2 cups of pineapple at a sitting, you probably don't need to do that. You know, 1 cup is probably fine. But at the same time, most of us aren't. You know, nobody got fat because they had too many bananas. Nobody, you know, had a crazy hyperglycemic event because of that. So when you hear those things, just try to kind of use that common sense brain. And for the most part, this isn't 100% always true in every situation, but for the most part, eating fresh fruits and vegetables like this that have not been processed, right? This was just picked off the tree. That's it. Same thing here. It's going to be a good choice. So that's my soapbox on that. And anyways, too, when you're eating these snacks, so if you're going to go do, I don't know, like a 6 or 8 mile hike or something, I would eat, one of these snacks for about every 1 to 2 hours hiking. It depends a little bit about how vigorous you are, how much mileage you're covering. So, if you're hiking, 3-4 miles an hour, that's some pretty good terrain. So you might need a snack about every, 60 to 90 minutes. You might do this first, and then an hour to an hour and a half later, do this. And then at the end of the hike, do something like this. But that's sort of the amount. So you do one of these, not all of them, obviously, but you would choose one, especially if it's like a post-workout snack or on a hike or something like that. So, all right, there you go. Let me know if you have any questions.